West Ham have been linked with some pretty big names this window, and some names that I never thought I'd ever associate with West Ham. And we've been linked with one recently, which I think has really just sort of sent the shockwaves through my brain, and that is Romelu Lukaku. Now, I don't believe that this will happen, and I don't think that there's any real truth to it. I think Roma will probably come in for him or another side, but X has confirmed that West Ham are interested. West Ham are interested in Romelu Lukaku, and while his wages would be a huge issue, and of course, getting him on a permanent deal would be very, very difficult. Supposedly, Romelu Lukaku to West Ham could happen. I believe his direct quote is "Never say never." Now, this is absolutely mental to me. I can't. I mean, Romelu Lukaku is an elite player. I know he's had his trouble with Chelsea and his attitude is a bit of an issue or whatever, but Romelu Lukaku is like Antonio on steroids. You know what I mean? Like, and that is tough to say because Antonio is such a quick, fast, powerful player with such a good shot on him. To say that is I think quite an accolade, but Romelu Lukaku is like Antonio on steroids, and I don't want to get carried away because it's never going to happen. He's not going to sign for us, but just imagine Romelu Lukaku in this West Ham side. Imagine. I mean, he used to run rings around us. He used to be, I think he was one of the players that scored the most goals against one club. I believe it was like Luis Suarez against Norwich had more, but Romelu Lukaku had so many goals against West Ham. It was like a record for how many goals he scores against us. And look, I don't think it's going to happen, like I said, but it's worth looking at because I see these sorts of reports in the news and I think, oh, that's just a bit of paper talk, but it is a deal that could happen. It genuinely is, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us try and throw a hat in the ring, but I don't think it'll happen. But anyway, welcome back to another video on the West Ham Way YouTube channel. It's what we all wait for. It's what we all love. 3 days left till the transfer window ends. And we're talking about paper talk. We're talking about all the links, all the players that we're being linked with at the moment. And we've got so many to get through as usual. So we'll start with at the top of the pitch. En-Nesyri is still someone we're trying to look at, but the likelihood of that happening, I don't think will happen. I know Mark is going to do a video tonight about who is essentially going to be our next striker, but it's not confirmed and the deal should be a loan deal. So there's no telling us if, say, like Danny Ings moved on or maybe even Antonio, hopefully not, but it could happen, whether we would revisit and go for another one of our striker targets. But Dominic Solanke of Bournemouth is also another target. I think we had like a £40 million bid rejected from him or from the club. So, again, that is a deal that potentially might not happen. Hugo Ekitike is another one that we don't think will happen. It's more likely than probably Romelu Lukaku, but we don't see that happening. We're also in, if we can get the striker target, which, again, Mark will reveal in tonight's video, or depending when this comes out, you might have already revealed it. But we are also looking at potentially a new fullback. Now, Ben Johnson is a player that potentially will be leaving the club. And if that happens, we might be looking for a new right back, wherever that may be. The right back target has not been confirmed, but in my eyes, if he goes to Southampton, which is looking maybe fairly likely, then I think we should be going in for Kyle Walker-Peters. I think he'd be brilliant on that right-hand side for us, especially if we want to go for a 5 at the back. So I'd be very, very, very excited if we can get something like that over the line. However, we do still hold an interest in Maatsen of Chelsea. He's made a few substitute appearances for Chelsea this window, and he has made it clear that he wants first team football. And Pochettino has come out and said, if anyone wants to leave, if anyone doesn't want to be at Chelsea, they're more than welcome to go, essentially. And they've tried contract talks with him. He's in his last year of his contract. They've tried to renegotiate it, but it is said that unless he's able to confirm Premier League football or first team football, he's not going to put pen to paper on a new deal. So he is somebody that I can imagine we will be going for when the window is coming to an end. Definitely somebody that I think we should be keeping an eye on. But it's a difficult situation. I don't think we'll be able to get 2 fullbacks over the line, in which case, if Ben Johnson leaves, I think they'll prioritise the right-hand side. And if Cresswell leaves, they'll prioritise the left-hand side. But it's looking like Cresswell might stay and now Johnson might go. So whoever we're going to go for, and I'm not entirely sure where or who, I think it will depend on a player departing first to facilitate the move. So unless Johnson leaves or Creswell leaves, I'm not sure we're going to go for another fullback this window. But Maatsen is someone we've been interested in for the entirety of the window. Somebody that essentially, again, wants first team football, would probably get it at West Ham. And he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. Another one is PSV's Ibrahim Sangare or Sangri, or I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce his name. He is somebody that we were looking at last summer or as a potential Rice replacement for this summer, but he did sign a new long-term deal with PSV. So that kind of got put to bed. But he's now emerging as a target. Fabrizio Romano has said that we would be looking to target him. I don't think we will because we've already got Alvarez. Yes, Downs has left, but I doubt we're going to be spending a lot more money on another CDM. Yes, we do have Alvarez there, but we've got Thomas Souček, who I think will be taking that role this season as well. You've got your number 8 in James Ward-Prowse, who's almost nailed on to start. You've now got Kudus, you've got Paqueta, Fornals can play in that position as well. I think there is a lot of competition in that midfield to where I don't think we're going to bring in anyone else. And there is also Maguire and McTominay. I'm not going to talk about them too much this video because they will be the focus of a next video. But essentially, it said that we might be revisiting those deals. So, again, I don't think that will happen. I think we've got Mavropanos in as a replacement for Maguire when that deal fell through. So it would be kind of weird if we went in for Maguire again. And as far, like I said, McTominay is concerned, like I say, we've got lots of competition in midfield. We're going to be prioritising a striker. Other positions, I think, will take precedence over that. So I don't personally believe that is going to be happening. But as I said, there are quite a few outgoings as well. Thilo Kehrer had some interest from Bayern Munich. So, I think they're losing Pavard. So potentially he could be a replacement for him. If Bayern come in for him, I can't see him turning him down, to be honest. He's a German boy, came from Germany. He plays for the German national team. I would be very, very surprised if he would turn down a move from Germany. But he does like the club. And hopefully, I think we will look at it as we don't want him to go. And hopefully he will see it as, I could break this first team at right back or centre back, especially if we're playing a back 3 this season, which I hope we move to. Another player, Creswell, I think he wants to leave, but obviously the move with Wolves broke down. There was some rumours about him, not training with the club, but, they've all been put to bed. He is training with the club at the moment. Emerson seems to be the preferred choice at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a late move in the window. You've also got Pablo Fornals. Now, supposedly he's frustrated at the lack of first-team football, which I can totally understand if that's true, but I haven't had anyone confirm that to me just as of yet. The club that are in for him, however, are Sevilla. Obviously, we are big fans of En-Nesyri, so and they can't obviously they've got financial restrictions, so they can't really spend a lot of money this window. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came in and said, "You can have En-Nesyri if you give us $4 the other way." He's a player I'm desperate to keep. I really, really hope that we can keep him this window. As I mentioned as well, Danny Ings, Mark is going to be revealing who our striker target seems to be at the moment, with all the talk saying that Tim Stardon's jetting off in his plane. When Tim Stardon gets out the jet, there ain't a player he can't get. So I wouldn't be surprised if that move is done fairly quickly. In doing so, I wouldn't be surprised if that facilitates Danny Ings leaving the club. Everton are interested in him. Obviously, played under Sean Dyche before at Burnley. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a transfer that does happen. And also, there are links that may be Cornet, but the concrete one at the moment is Ben Johnson. We will be doing a standalone video on that soon. But Ben Johnson supposedly is fairly likely that he will leave this window. And I don't totally disagree with that. I think that's a fairly normal thing to happen when he's not getting first team football. And of course, my favourite player of all time, Jesse Lingard. Again, I will be doing a standalone video on him, talking about my thoughts on him, whether he should be joining the club or not. So look out for that. But, it's worth mentioning that he is somebody that could sign. Now, I think it's smart from West Ham to not sign him already because he is a free agent. There is no reason why we can't sign him after the window ends. There's not a huge amount of clubs in for his signature after his Nottingham Forest spell. He's training with the club. From what I've heard, the negotiations have all been fairly good with him. Less TikToks, better attitude. I think West Ham are holding their cards quite close to their chest on this one. They want to probably make Jesse sit in it for a little bit. But like I said, I'm doing a video on that in a little bit more detail. But he is somebody that I think we probably will sign. And the big takeaway from this video is that supposedly, even after the 4 players we've just signed, 2 or 3 more players will sign this window, or at least we will look to do that. And I think that will be the striker that Mark will be mentioning tonight. And I think probably a fullback. I think if Ben Johnson leaves, we'll probably get a fullback in, and then Jesse Lingard will be that third player. I think 2 more signings we will make, and the third player will be Jesse Lingard. And if it's not Jesse Lingard, it will just be 2 signings. So that'll be a striker. 1,000,000%. I think we will sign a striker this window, even if it's not who we want, our first choice. I think that's it, what one of our signings are going to be. The next signing for me, I think, is probably going to be a fullback. I'd be very surprised if we move for another centre back in like Maguire. I'd be very surprised if we get a goalkeeper. I think we're very happy with the goalkeeper options. With Ben Johnson looking likely to leave, I think the next signing will be a fullback. Who that is, not really too much detail on that, unfortunately. The only fullback we're really linked with at the moment is Ian Matson. So it's not very telling as to who's going to be our right back or who will replace Johnson. Like I said, I would love to see KWP come to the London Stadium, especially if they want Johnson. And I'm sure Walker Peters will be more than happy to come back to the Premier League. But main takeaways, like just to summarise this long paper talk episode of the West Ham way, Romelu Lukaku linked with him, might happen, might not. Manager unsure about attitude, wages are a bit high, but I mean, it could happen. It really could happen. And I am buying into the hype a little bit because I think that'd be a mental signing for West Ham. And it would just be absolutely crazy to see him put on the West Ham shirt. It would probably be a loan deal. No permanent deal would be done for him. So I'd be surprised to see that happen. Talks continue with En-Nesyri. That's looking unlikely. Dominic Solanke we're interested in. Had been rejected before. Doubt we're going to go back in for him. PSV's Ibrahim Sangare. Yes, we are interested in him. Yes, we have had an interest in him in the past, but due to us signing other players in his position, I doubt we're going to go for him. Maguire, McTominay, not sure what's happening with that. Maguire, I suppose he wants a loan move. I can see that happening if we are okay with it. But again, wages would be a huge issue for us. It's looking like we're dead set to get a striker. Timmy Stiden is off in his jet to Brazil. Say it with me. When Timmy Stiden's in his jet, there ain't a player he can't get. So I think that is going to be happening probably tonight and at least by the end of the window. Like I said, Mark will take that one in more detail. And I'm pretty sure that's everything. Ben Johnson, of course, like I say, probably looking likely to leave. Creswell, Fornals, Kehrer, Danny Ings linked with moves away, but it's unlikely that we would let them leave. That is paper talk for West Ham. I'm out of breath. So many things to get through. 3 days left of the window. 2 or 3 players are going to be signing for us. Who will they be?